Have you ever had an intuitive urge or nudge or hint, totally ignored it, and then carried that regret forward with you? You're not alone. And that's why I'm here. Hi, I'm Kai Cox, and I am a spiritual mentor, intuitive alchemist, massage therapist, speaker, and board certified biotouch instructor. When I tell that to people, they often wonder, how did you get here? How did you go down this path? So today I want to share it with you. Well, for this, we have to go back to the beginning. When I was little, I thought we all talked to spirits that we saw around us, and I picked up on the energy that other people weren't talking about it, right? So I thought we were all still doing it. I thought everyone had this awareness, adults, kids, everyone. And I was like, okay, being so highly sensitive, I was like, this is something we don't talk about. And then I remember on my fifth birthday, it was my birthday, gotten my favorite cake. I remember sitting on the couch, well, laying on the couch and just crying because I didn't feel like I was doing enough. And everything just kind of felt a little confusing. I think that's when I first started to shut down. Like, we don't talk about this anymore. Let's stay normal. Let's stay safe. And there were definitely things throughout my experience in the school system that continued to help me stay shut down. Like, I remember my first grade teacher telling me I had the biggest, beautiful smile. And I remember her saying that to my mom and being so proud that, she could share that. And then I remember second grade just being so difficult. And then fourth grade being somewhat of a nightmare. Those stories don't matter for right now, but they do explain how the process helped me shut down. Helped me shut down to the point where in high school I felt so disconnected from who I actually was that I was just in deep depression. And I don't know if this is across the board, that when you're denying a part of you, it can lead to depression. When you're numbing, it comes up as depression. And if you're too future thinking, it can be anxiety, which I've also experienced because I am here, I am human. Well, this experience completely shut me down. It had me feeling like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what was best for me. And I barely knew how to make decisions. And you might be thinking, yeah, you're in high school. That's how everyone feels. But do we have to? That's part of the reason I'm here. Do we have to? Or could we just trust ourselves? Well, I'm grateful for my journey, even though during it was so hard. I know I caused so much stress for my parents, for my friends, for those around me that knew what was going on, and those who had no idea because I was so good at masking it. Well, when I went to my freshman year of college, although it wasn't really something I wanted to do, it was just something I thought we do, thought that's the next step. I went in severely depressed to the point where I didn't have class on Fridays and I normally just didn't get out of bed. And it was heavy and it was dark. And I did not know how I could continue on this disconnected, but I didn't realize that it was the disconnect at that time that was causing all this pain. There were, of course, emotional things that happened throughout my childhood that led to that disconnect. And I remember the day I was like, maybe I just need more sun. So that was a little touch of intuition coming in. A little touch that was saying, hey, we're here. Can you listen? Although I didn't know it at the time. And so I followed that urge. I just needed more sun and I moved out to Tucson, Arizona. And it still wasn't 100% my thoughts because my siblings had gone there. It was, again, something, well, here was one scenario that didn't work, so let's try the next. And I went to the university out there and I tried. And for a semester, I thought, okay, this is just something we get through. And then it was after being in a public health class and I was assigned anger and I wasn't an angry person, getting up and speaking and being like, this can't be how things have to be. What do I want to do to bring some joy into my life? So I signed up for a community college class on massage therapy. And it was awesome because I signed up with my brother and we had the best time. I was still playing on the club volleyball team, still having all the college experience, and yet getting to follow my passion and my joy. And so then I I knew he was going to school for massage, and it was something that I always wanted. I remember being in high school and saying, I'm going to go to school for massage therapy, and people being like, don't do it. And I listened, and that's okay. And then I got to decide, no, it's time for me. And I do thank my mother. She warned me that there would be times that were hard, and there are definitely moments where I feel, okay, some parts of the system just simply don't work because there have been times where doing my job have actually been somewhat life threatening. And that's unfortunate, and that's a talk for another time. But I am eternally grateful that I followed that intuition because then things just, it was like the snow going down the hill, things just kept rolling perfectly into place. I was given my very first job. Any job going forward, I walk into a place and say, I want to work here. And my spirit team would arrange that. And at the time, I didn't know that's what it was. I just thought, this is nice. This is how things line up, right? Now it's so mainstream to know that you manifested it or you're manifesting your whole reality or your spirit team went. And that's amazing. And it's time to accelerate that. So, in that process of going to school, I learned to trust myself again. And I learned to keep following those nudges, that intuition, that those hits that were just like, oh, this feels so exciting and I get to do it. Well, that led to me learning BioTouch healing, one of my absolute favorite techniques. And then I also, before that, learned Lomi Lomi and had all these techniques that had to do with self awareness and spirit guided. And then it was sitting with the founder, Paul, and realizing, having this conversation of what are you going to do next, and realizing I want to hone my intuition. Like, I really want to understand what this is. I want to feel connected as I once was. And it was my grandmother dying, where I was laying in bed crying, talking to her, and she talked back. And it was just this whoosh download of, this is our natural state. Not only is the veil thin, but there is no veil between worlds. We are all connected 100% of the time, and we can communicate, and we get to be a part of the conversation. So that led me to calling in the right mentors, and my mom did such an amazing job of helping me find the right mentors. I signed up for Sonia Shiket's class not having an idea of who she was, besides that she was Cookie's sister, who I learned the Lomi Lomi from. I walked into that room, asked a question, and someone's like, oh, that's in this book. And I was like, oh, she's written books. And I got a few crazy looks like, how do you not know? She has 30 plus books, right? So such a trust in, this is the process. It feels right. I'm being pulled toward it, and I'm just going to trust. And that's how that first session ended. I just felt my body floating towards signing up for the next one. And I couldn't wait when I looked forward to connecting with those soul sisters I met there and being a part of that experience. And then all the other pieces perfectly fell into place. I remember trading massage with my friend Shauna, and she's like, hey, I'm about to take this class tomorrow with Lisa Nitskin, who is a local medium. And I was like, hey, I think I want to take that class too, if you don't mind. And we're like, absolutely, let's do it together. And then taking her courses and being like, okay, yes, this is for everyone. That brought in the awareness that these are just like muscles. Our clair senses, the way I communicate with spirit teams, just like you can, are clair senses, and we can strengthen them. We all can do it. And that is why I am so passionate now for helping people reconnect. Have the awareness that you are this spiritual being having this human experience, and it's time to live fully into all that we can be. So, that is why I offer my Inner Compass mentorship. What is an inner compass? It's that guiding force. It's the things that bring you forward right to where you're supposed to be. And I want to hold space for you to feel connected, have self awarenesses, and trust your inner compass again. If this sounds exciting, if you can connect or resonate with any part of my story, I hope you'll get in touch. Let's see what we can do together. I would love to show you what's possible and show you how unstoppable you truly are.